Mr. David Beckham.
In a land of gridiron and baseball, soccer is the latest craze. All eyes are on the Beckhams as they introduce soccer's champions to the USA.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Alexi Lawless, and I am the proud president and general manager of the jewel of MLS, the Los Angeles Galaxy.
Potentially in the States, soccer could be as big as it is everywhere else around the world. And I'm very proud to be part of that and going to be part of that for the next 5 years.
In 2007, David Beckham took a chance on a major career move. This is the story of the rise of David Beckham. He was born David Robert Joseph Beckham, but the world knows him simply as Beckham or Becks. It is one of the most recognisable names in the world, and he is the #1 pop star of the world game of soccer.
This goes in. It is Beckham, deflected. There is the cheer, and there is the smile.
Beckham was born on May the 2nd, 1975 in Leytonstone, London. As a youngster, he lived and breathed football, and he enjoyed long hours kicking the ball around with his dad. And in 1991, he was signed up by the world-famous Manchester United as a trainee. He made his debut the following year. Less than a year later, with an FA Youth Cup under his belt, Beckham was now a convincing professional with the mighty Man U, for whom he had dreamed of playing for as a boy.
Right, here is David Beckham, onside.
It wasn't long before his deadly pinpoint accuracy on penalty kicks and his sweeping crosses etched itself into the consciousness of opponents and fans alike. Beckham had now become a soccer legend, bringing home the FA Cup, Premier League Cup and Charity Shield one after the other. Football fans loved him. They adulated this working-class lad with his cheeky smirk, raw talent and wide-eyed innocence. Not only could he play football, but he was handsome to boot. He was forgiven for his quirky London accent, even though back then he seldom spoke in public. His nondescript blue-collar background was on show for all to see.
You know, the majority of the team are all young. Most of the team are all young. And, you know, we just want to carry on each season and try and do as well as we can.
Beckham was on his way to conquering the world. Scoring goal after spectacular goal through the '96 season made him an instant household name. Now Beckham was well and truly on the rise to fame and fortune. When world leaders to pop stars clamour to meet you, film stars like Tom Cruise want to be seen in your company, and fans around the world adore you, you know you've made it. An intoxicating mix of stunning good looks, marriage to a pop star, and the birth of photogenic children, combined with the drama of physical injury and a whopping salary, means millions of magazines, newspapers and television programs can't get enough of the legend that is David Beckham. And not only that, he plays football with the speed of a gazelle, the grace of a dancer and the daring of a true sporting hero. The Spice Girls were the flirty female Fab Five of the 90s.
I mean, when you think we're just five mates having a laugh.
Better known as Posh, she was Victoria Adams, and soon to be the other major interest in David Beckham's life. When Beck saw Posh in a Spice Girls video clip, he said he had to meet the one with the bob and the short skirt, and the rest is history. 4 months later, Posh was pregnant. Looking exhausted but over the moon, Beckham attempted to speak over the clamour of reporters, asking David, is it a boy or a girl? It's a boy, he told them. Have you chosen his name yet, they asked.
Brooklyn Joseph. And how's Victoria?
She's very well. She's set up. She's drinking champagne. She's very well.
Paparazzi and press reporters followed Beck's and Posh's every move. And the arrival of Brooklyn in March 1999 told the media in no uncertain manner their celebrity wouldn't be bought cheaply. Within months, the tabloid press had to pay $1.5 million US for the wedding pictures of Britain's new royals at Luttrellstown Castle in Ireland. Fittingly, the couple moved into what became known as Buckingham Palace, a mansion near London. 5 years after buying posh an engagement ring worth $65,000, the quiet lad with the lanky hair soon became the epitome of style, charm and political correctness. It was Victoria's influence that gave him that confidence, and he basked in the spotlight off the field as well as on. Together, they have become the world's most influential trendsetters. Victoria is credited with being the driving force behind this transformation into a highly marketable new millennium man. She became, for the most part, the couple's voice, and Bex was happy to leave it to her, letting his football magic and charming smiles do the talking. The Beckham's second son, Romeo James, was born on September 1, 2002 by a caesarean section. And again at the midday press conference, the noisy contingent of reporters meant David's quiet tones were hard to hear. And his name, a proud David Beckham told reporters, was to be Romeo. So it was with a voice brimming with happiness and easy confidence, he announced the birth of a second Beckham son, named after Shakespeare's tragic lovelorn character.
Nervous having children, but it's the most beautiful thing in the world, so we're both delighted.
Under Victoria's firm and perhaps protective guidance, by 2000 Beckham had reached the pinnacle of his career. After Romeo was born, David says he discussed retirement with Victoria. His parents were divorcing and he was having problems with his Manchester United manager. There was also the dramatic news of 2 plots to kidnap Victoria and the children. Although they were discovered before they could be carried out, the news was devastating. David told the media that the first role of a father and husband is to keep his family safe, and they would be reviewing their security arrangements.
You know, it's a real infringement on their freedom of movement and so forth, but I really do think that they're going to really have to consider beefing up their security to the same level as royalty protection.
When things calmed down, David changed his mind about retiring. Victoria persuaded him to reconsider how much he loved the game and captaining the English side. On a cable network poll, Posh and Bex were dubbed the world's most romantic couple. They still have an incredibly strong bond. Despite the public adulation, they try to retain a practical slant on life, keeping family life sacrosanct, and take delight in spending as much time as they can with their boys. And it seems that all these years on, theirs is still a celebrity coupling made in heaven. Football, like public life, hasn't all been smooth sailing for David Beckham. At the World Cup of 1998 in France, he was given the red card for kicking Argentinian player Diego Simeone. Beckham handed the Argentinians the game on a silver platter by overreacting to a fairly minor provocation. It was the first time he'd been sent off as a professional, and it left his team a player short. England lost the game and was eliminated from the World Cup. The fans blamed Beckham for the loss, and the weight of the country came down hard.
In '98, when I got the red card, and I had to overcome all the adversity that was sort of thrown at me and thrown at me on the football pitch and also in my life. And I tell the stories of certain things that happened at that time to my family, to me. That's off the pitch. On the pitch, you know, that was the only place where I sort of escaped and was happy and felt safe.
Being jeered and reviled by unforgiving fans wasn't what Beckham was used to. It was a bitter pill to swallow. He hadn't learned to build up a resistance to name-calling, which is part and parcel of modern sport. He learned the lesson that no matter how much you are provoked, you never let your side or your country down by showing that you care, especially with your boot. At this event, held to celebrate the lives of elite athletes through art, Beckham explained how he had survived this time.
But off the pitch, it was a very tough time for me. And that's where my pictures and my story comes from, because it was a very tough time after '98, after being sent off, and I went through certain things that many people say people shouldn't have to go through in life, and I went through that, and my story is that I've come out of that, and you know, I'm a better person and a better footballer from that, and stronger. So that's my story.
Almost beaten by the incident, Beckham tried to put the episode behind him. The following year brought another FA Cup and UEFA's Most Valuable Player award. He was instrumental in guiding Man U to its greatest success ever, a Champions League title, an Intercontinental Cup and an English League title, all in the same year. At the 2002 World Cup, as captain of England, Beckham had the chance to redeem himself against his country's old enemy, Argentina. He took the opportunity by converting a penalty that gave his side and country the victory that earned their forgiveness. Just before the tournament, Beckham broke a bone in his foot. He was devastated, wanting to prove he'd grown up since he let his country down. He was also desperate to show that England could once again be a force in world football. For Beckham and the fans, it was more than just football.
If we get through the first stages of the competition, then I feel that anything can happen. You know, you need a certain amount of luck, but the team have, you know, we've got a lot of very good players, and we can perform.
There was much at stake. This game had national pride riding on it. Beckham had overreacted to a taunt 4 years earlier like a spoilt child. It wouldn't happen again. With the qualities of a champion, Beckham not only played in the tournament, he led England to the quarter-finals, where they were defeated by eventual champions Brazil. While the famous Beckham style was returning to the soccer pitch, the Beck's look was becoming a head-turner whenever he stepped out on the town. David is revered as the ultimate metrosexual. He often wears painted fingernails, hangs out in sarongs, and keeps one step ahead with an endless array of headbands, plaits, gels and colours in his hair.
I'm running out of hairstyles, I think.
He's estimated to have spent over $24,000 US alone on his ever-changing hairstyles.
Everyone has bad hair days, and I'm the same. You know, I'll wake up one day and say, you know, I don't like the hair today, and off it comes, and that's the way I decide on what I am going to do next.
During the 2002 World Cup tournament, Japanese hairdressers in Tokyo were inundated with requests for copies of soccer players' styles, and the Beckham soft mohawk was the #1 favourite. Japanese fans wanted to be as close as possible to their icon David Beckham, and one hairdresser was giving free Beckham haircuts to 10 people a day as part of an effort to build up enthusiasm for soccer. Every day for a week, he and his assistant took their scissors, combs and mousse to a shopping arcade in a trendy suburb of Tokyo to turn passers-by locks into versions of the England captain's spiky style. Most of his customers are pleased with their new look, but are too embarrassed to admit it. No, I don't think I look like Beckham. If you take away the hair, you'll see I don't look like him at all, said this 39-year-old fan. I'm too embarrassed to even think that I look like Beckham, but I like it. It has an edge to it, added another fan. The rain and heat of the World Cup in Asia had wilted Beckham's trademark mohawk, and tabloids said his personal hairdresser was due to arrive during the tournament to make repairs or even give him a new look. With the Beckham look always moving on, it's possible that these Beckham wannabes were the only ones left wearing his pointy hair. The Beckham brand of approval is sought out by clothing designers, health and fitness specialists, fashion magazines, perfume and cosmetics manufacturers, hairstylists, exercise promoters, and spa and recreation companies. Beckham is now considered an important fashion trendsetter. The couple isn't just watched by fashionistas. They have a lucrative sideline putting their imprimatur to work. Not to be outshone by her husband, Victoria Beckham makes guest appearances on the catwalk for haute couture fashion houses. She has also worked on a range of women's clothing, including shirts and skirts. She has produced a range of handbags and jewellery in association with a Japanese store, and her denim collection was launched in New York along with her eyewear range. As Beckham's pay packet skyrocketed to over $170,000 a week, his wardrobe became more and more extravagant. And when with Victoria he agreed to a Dolce & Gabbana fashion spread in Italian Vogue, the whole world saw just how far he had evolved from the media-shy prodigy of the mid to late 90s. In the sexy black and white folio, the Italian designers dedicated their spring and summer collection to the English captain. Since 1998, everything that David Beckham has worn, every hairstyle he has sported, and every product he put his name to has become incredibly successful. While women go weak at the knees over him, and men regard him as a good guy and a sporting champion, everyone recognises the charismatic, elusive style that Bex exudes. And with his newfound confidence, modelling sunglasses and getting raunchy for the camera with his wife comes naturally. He's been ridiculed in the press for looking like a Hell's Angel biker and a football yacht because of his increasing number of tattoos. They include tattoos of Victoria's name in Hindi, his children's names, as well as the Latin phrases including spiritual perfection and an angel with the motto, "In the face of adversity." And when you're Beckham, who cares what the press says? David Beckham has proven he is far from average. Back at Manchester United, a nasty rift was developing between the star midfielder and manager Sir Alex Ferguson. In an ugly incident, Beckham was kicked in the face by a boot kicked by no other than Ferguson. Beck's damaged face had to be surgically stitched, but it was the end of the road. No amount of surgery was going to patch up the relationship, and the aggrieved champion wouldn't be at Old Trafford for very much longer. If monetary value is any judge, Beckham's ambition to be the best footballer in the world was realised in 2003, when he was sold by Manchester United for an extraordinary $42 million US. The club who thought him worth that much was the legendary Spanish club Real Madrid. Beckham was a willing participant in the deal, but confirmed he was still prepared to captain the English national side despite living in Spain. Manchester United fans were devastated. Their champion was deserting them.
I spent 13 very good years at Manchester United. I've got a lot of friends there which will carry on being friends. A lot of fans that hopefully will still watch me in the games and support me.
To the operatic strains of A la Madrid, the £25 million man took centre stage on his first day as a Real Madrid player. His new shirt was emblazoned with the number 23, not his favourite number 7, but the new numbers were those made famous by basketball legend Michael Jordan. It seemed this couldn't be pure coincidence. It had to be an omen.
And joining Real Madrid is a dream come true. Gracias. A la Madrid.
David's first official appointment with his new club was a televised medical examination, which he passed with flying colours. The Spanish doctor, Dal Corral, reported that in our opinion, he's in perfect condition. He's like new. Then, with characteristic good manners, he apologised to the Real players for disrupting their routines with his unavoidable entourage of frenzied media fans. And so the English champion footballer received the all-clear to sign on with one of the greatest football clubs of all time.
People know that my family comes first, but my football is my life and my career. And for me, to play good football and to stay happy is the most important thing. I want to win trophies with Real Madrid, and that's very important to me. But also to cap it all off would be a trophy with England.
Out on the field, now wearing the full Real Madrid gear, Beckham got a taste of Spanish sunshine and a perfectly manicured turf. Hundreds of cheering fans turned out to welcome the 28-year-old midfielder to Real's training ground. He performed a series of tricks for them, balancing the ball on his head and posing for photographs with fans. One young fan scrambled under the security fence and headed straight for his new hero. Beckham greeted him like a long-lost friend, shooing away the security guards and keeping the boy with him. He even gave him his spare Real shirt. It was a publicist's dream.
It's going to be an amazing experience because the only time I've run out onto a football pitch is either with England or with Manchester United, so running out for Real Madrid with these sort of players and this team and in front of that, 90,000 fans is going to be an amazing experience.
Real had won the European Cup a record 9 times and the Spanish League Championships 29 times. Now, they were hoping their purchase of Beckham would not only add to their already star-studded lineup, but to its marketing power, particularly in Asia. And if the excited adoration showered on Posh and Becks in the Far East is any indication, they were on a surefire winner.
Players that I admire, I play with, so to have them players and to look up to players like that, like Ronaldo, Zidane, Figo, Roberto Carlos, Raul, to have them all in the same team as you, you can't ask for better than that. But as I said, I played for Man United for a long time and I had a lot of players in that team that I respect, and having Roy Keane as a captain was a big plus for everyone and still is for Manchester United.
After the announcement he was leaving Manchester United to play for the Spanish team Real, Becks and Posh went on a 10-day tour of Asia. Back home in Britain, the couple had ridden the roller coaster of public opinion. But elsewhere, and particularly in Asia, Beckham was still the great star he had always been. Everywhere they went, the Beckhams' popularity was overwhelming, with adoring fans lining up in their thousands to welcome them.
Yeah, I love it.
In Japan, the Beckhams' arrival demanded a live television broadcast. Asia is home to millions of Beck's most fanatical, but more to the point, free-spending fans. This was the main reason for the trip. It was not so much about his football skills as his marketability. He was a one-man marketing industry, appearing in commercials for products as diverse as chocolates to beauty products.
Beckham!
While in Thailand, the Beckhams, with only a handful of people in the know, were discreetly whisked away to the exclusive Chua Som, a luxurious spa, to shoot a TV commercial. Along the way, Beckham stopped his police motorcade to make a Y, or clasped hand greeting, at some roadside shrines. The Y is used by the Thais as a greeting and farewell, but also to pay respect to Buddha. Beckham's gesture was said to be an indication of his respect for the beliefs and cultures of all people, rather than an indication of his own spiritual beliefs. Either way, it earned him a bucket load of good karma. And in Bangkok, thousands of screaming fans packed into the Highmark football stadium in the scorching heat to see the 28-year-old Beckham led in by a team of drum majorettes. He then performed some of his trademark tricks to rapturous applause. And within minutes was bending free kicks into the net. In Hanoi, fans waited at the military stadium in excited anticipation at the chance to see the star in action. Beckham is revered by the Vietnamese, not only for his football and good looks, but because he is seen as a good family man. Whenever he travels around the globe, Becks loves meeting children, and it's no doubt a two-way relationship.
To see the people and the kids, and to see little kids that are just 1 year old and they've got their hair like me, it's pretty amazing. So it's nice to see, and we all enjoy it.
In China, where he's known as Little Bei, meaning Little Beck, Some fans weren't happy about his move to Spain, but they soon transferred their allegiance and now support Real with the same fervour as they followed Manchester United. As they returned back home from their new home in Spain, fans and police came out in force to see Becks performing best man duties at a friend's wedding. Victoria and Brooklyn, who was one of the Page boys, arrived at the church moments later. At the MTV Movie Awards in Hollywood, even amongst the most glamorous of stars, Victoria and David stole the show. Fans went wild with delight when Britain's top celebrity couple arrived, wearing matching white outfits. Becks had his right arm in plaster to heal a broken wrist, but it too was swathed in matching white. A radiant Victoria announced the winner for the UK and Ireland Transatlantic Breakthrough Award.
And the winner is
Colin Farrell.
That Beckham is popular, there is no doubt. A video game has digitised Becks playing a leading role. People imitate his fashion, copy his hairstyles, and follow his every move thanks to the media. People know there is more to this footballer than just his football. There's something about David Beckham that they just can't get enough of. The paparazzi and media buzz around the Beckhams are like bees at a honeypot, especially David. And it doesn't matter which country they're in, the inevitable throng of media and fans wait impatiently to capture that money shot or the thrill of a personal autograph. It doesn't matter if it's a birthday party for one of their children or arriving in Asia to a televised walkout from customs. The couple has had to learn to take it all in their stride. They have developed a veneer of nonchalance, letting nothing disturb their uber cool. But they also generate personal warmth with a smile always at the ready. During the alleged affair saga, when one of the staff claimed a dalliance with David, they were still seen to be composed, if not always completely convincing. It did, however, provide some tense times for their security staff. When the Beckhams were reunited inside this French mountain chalet for the night, following the affair revelations, they were under siege from the media. As Britain's most photographed showbiz couple, however, they knew what to do. They called for reinforcements. First on deck were the two private ski instructors. There would be no public ski school for the Beckhams boys. Then the local gendarmerie and a private security firm were brought in to deal with the over-eager cameras.
We want cooperation, we want to get the job done.
Other holidaymakers looked on in fascination at the media circus. All of Victoria's family, including the youngest children, had arrived to support her. David and Victoria got into their car behind closed doors and were whisked away in a convoy of darkened windows.
David, are you talking to Chelsea?
It was a tense time for the Beckhams, with the media crossing boundaries and forgetting their manners. They were sometimes a little too close for comfort.
We just leave it at that. Okay, all right. Thank you. All right.
I've been called a bad father, I've been called a bad husband, and my wife's been called a bad mother.
It was at this time that David took the uncharacteristic step for him and banned certain media outlets.
Yeah, as I said, you know, things always hurt that are said about my family, and for people to call my wife a bad mother, you know, is unbelievable. And
in an unprecedented move, the normally media-friendly David Beckham snapped.
I think the way the news side have treated me in the last few months has been an absolute disgrace.
He decided to ban some media outlets, stressing that although he knew his media responsibilities at the time as captain of England, he'd had enough.
I know as England captain that, you know, I am obligated and I need to talk to the fans, and that's why I'm here.
He felt that at this rocky time in his personal life, he should only be required to respond to the media about sport. Anything else was his and Victoria's own business.
The things that have always been said about me has never affected my football, and that's the way it'll always be.
But that is all in the past. The media attention now is far more positive at the Greatest Living Britain Awards.
That's a great honour, let alone being in the same room as David Beckham.
David was in the audience when Helen Mirren received her award for film. Es un muchacho, it's a boy. In a Madrid hospital, bathed in beautiful Spanish sunshine, Victoria gave birth to a third son. They named him Cruz David. Beaming with pride, David Beckham announced his arrival to the cameras.
He's a gorgeous little boy, he's a healthy little boy, and his mummy is very, very good, so, you know, we're a very happy family.
Is he going to play for Spain or England, David? That's what we want to know.
Well, he was born here, but, you know, we'll see. You know, England will be the preference, but you never know.
From one exhilarating press conference to another, Beckham limped towards this much tougher one. In front of the microphones, he fought to keep his emotions under control. He was exemplary, and the name of David Beckham will go down in English football forever. Celebrity has its upside, downside, and sometimes incredibly weird side, with fans wanting to idolise, idealise, and even immortalise the object of their affection. This 3-metre-high chocolate David Beckham in Tokyo may not last long enough to be immortal, but it's a delicious tribute. Meanwhile, at a temple in Bangkok, a golden statue of Beckham stands among all the other Buddhas, revealing just how much the Thais idolise him. And of course in the UK, at Madame Tussauds Waxworks Museum, Beckham is idolised in a lifelike replica. It is even modified each time David changes his appearance. And across the Atlantic, Madame Tussauds is immortalised both David and Victoria alongside another well-known trendsetter. In real life, Beckham shakes hands with royalty of the traditional kind, as well as popular royalty like Nelson Mandela.
Oh, very good.
From national leaders to fans of all ages with no claim to fame, David Beckham, of humble Leytonstone origins, treats everyone as equal. His love for all children is truly genuine and it's mutual. He lives a healthy life and isn't attracted to the drinking and drug-taking of many in the public limelight. He has a wide-eyed innocence, which gives him the appearance of an ever-youthful Peter Pan. Some say he's never grown up, but perhaps his seeming immaturity and ability to relate with young people is a result of finding more honesty in them than those adults he's met in the cutthroat world of sport and commerce. Tiny cheerleaders dressed in the English flag at St George chanted and sang as the English players were welcomed to their school in Japan during the World Cup. Beckham presented a signed English jersey to one of the lucky schoolgirls and then couldn't resist stealing a kiss. As the players left, waving to the children, their young fans chanted in salute to their idol. Such is Beckham's love for children. He has joined world leaders in making television pledges supporting children's rights as part of a UNICEF campaign.
Well, I first became involved with UNICEF about 5 or 6 years ago when I was with Manchester United on tour in Asia, and I went to one shelter where there was boys, girls and mostly mothers there, where the children had been either on the streets, prostitution, and you know, it was a totally an eye-opener for me.
When he talks about children, the humanitarian footballer's heart is truly worn on his sleeve.
I believe that children everywhere should be free to grow up in health, peace and dignity.
Exhibiting natural charm and patience, when asked by this Japanese lad, how much do you have to practice, the answer is positive and affirming.
When I was your size and your age, I loved playing football. I practiced playing football every day. It was the most important thing in my life, and I worked very hard. So if you work very hard, then you can reach any height and any level you want to. So you practice, and the most important thing is that you enjoy playing football, and that's the best thing in the world.
Yet when it comes to children, the globe-trotting superstar shows that his heart is never far from London. In 2005, he realised a long-held ambition when he opened the David Beckham Academy. The aim of this academy was to find new up-and-coming football players, as well as to give youngsters the chance to develop a range of life skills to become better citizens.
Every sporting arena, I think, is important for kids. You know, firstly to get them off the streets, because there's a lot of distractions out there in life, and you know, to have something like this, you know, I've always said that this academy is not just about the elitism. It's not about finding the new great players. if it does that, and if it gives the chance for kids to come down and improve their skills and become professional footballers, then great. But for me, the most important thing is the kids come down, they have fun, they enjoy themselves, they learn different things in this academy, because this academy is different from other academies, from other soccer schools out there.
Equipped with 2 giant indoor pitches, the academy aimed to take in 15,000 children a year, 10,000 free of charge. Under the guidance of Beckham, the academy not only taught children football skills, but also offered valuable life skills. Beckham felt that it was important to get children of all ages involved in sporting activity.
There's classrooms in the academy where the kids can learn about the game, they can learn about their bodies, their physical things that they need to know about their bodies. And of course there's a classroom for things about respect on and off the pitch. So, you know, the academy is about, you know, something that kids can learn, kids can come down and they can take out of the academy.
Beckham, remembering his start in football, hoped that the academy might one day turn up a great player of the future.
You know, to find the next George Best, that would be the top thing that I could ever want from this academy.
So it is with no wonder that Beckham has been rewarded for these commendable qualities. In 1997, he received the PFA Young Player of the Year award. In 1999, he was winner of the UEFA Club Player of the Year. 2001 saw him awarded BBC Sports Personality of the Year. In 2003, he was named an officer in the Order of the British Empire by Queen Elizabeth II. And in 2007 was voted Britain's greatest ambassador at the Greatest Britain Awards.
The winner of the Global Achievement Award is David Beckham.
I'd just like to say it's an honour, and I'm privileged to be in the same room as Dame Helen Mirren.
Being good-looking, successful, wealthy, a football legend and married to a pop star were probably ingredients enough for Beckham to earn a good income through product endorsements. But when he began changing his image constantly and the pair became a part of the world's Style Watch list in the media, Beckham could ask his own price. Vodafone, Adidas, PepsiCo, Brylcreem, Siemens, Motorola and Marks & Spencer's, as well as some Japanese companies, have lined up to sign him up. Beckham now has more endorsements than any other player in the game. Adidas, capitalising upon Beckham's immense appeal to the young, released this animated TV commercial. Becks played the part of an unmasked ghoul when he teamed up with Scooby-Doo and his pals. Beckham said, "I like the idea that I would feature in the legendary cartoon that my kids watch." Scooby-Doo has a massive following around the world.
David Beckham!
In 2003, when Manchester United sold Beckham to Real Madrid, it created a furore among advertisers as well as football fans. His off-field earning power was a factor in his £24.5 million transfer. The two clubs had a big rivalry to conquer the commercial potential of the growing Asian appetite for football. Asia generates a quarter of his endorsement earnings. And it's proving that the Beckham brand is a bankable commodity. Already in 2005, he signed a $160.8 million lifetime deal with Adidas. But Beckham is not just reaping it in for himself.
The impact of AIDS on children is devastating.
He tirelessly supports many charities, including Malaria No More, Peace One Day, the Prince's Trust, the National Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Children, and he is a UNICEF Goodwill Ambassador.
Football is huge everywhere around the world, apart from America. And I believe that if I can go there and make a difference, believe me, I know it's not going to be, as big as basketball, American football, but if I can make some sort of difference, then that's what I want to do, and I'll be proud to do that.
When the retired England captain announced he would be joining the major soccer league team Los Angeles Galaxy in the US, Beckham's former coach at Manchester United, Alex Ferguson, said he wasn't surprised by Beckham's move to the States.
I think I anticipated that. I thought that was to be expected, to go to America.
How you doing?
How's it going?
Nice to meet you.
How you doing, man?
Fine,
nice
are you?
to meet you. Yeah, doing good. Reggie.
Good. You have to get it over and under.
This would be the sport you would actually call football.
Yeah.
You're kicking it.
Before his US debut with the Los Angeles Galaxy, David Beckham gave some soccer tips to star American footballer Reggie Bush from New Orleans Saints.
Further. Hey! Okay. Let's go. I think I got his number now.
You want to take one?
Oh.
Never tried it with one of these before.
When Beckham moved his soccer skills and the incredible marketing machine that is David Beckham Inc. to LA Galaxy, a Major League Soccer team in the US, he didn't come cheap. It was for a record deal of $250 million US. Alexi Lalas, LA Galaxy general manager, said,
It's a tremendous day for the Los Angeles Galaxy, for Major League Soccer, and for soccer in America. I mean, to be able to bring a player like David Beckham, his stature, his experience, automatically makes the Los Angeles Galaxy a better soccer team, but it does so much more on and off the field for the sport in the United States. So we're all excited about it.
Beckham signing with the MSL has sparked a massive surge of interest, bringing the game of soccer into the American zeitgeist. Attendances, merchandise sales, and traffic to the league's website has resulted in a bonanza for the league. Sales of Beckham's number 23 jersey have soared into the hundreds of thousands, with Beckham reportedly getting 40 to 50% of the revenue. Overall merchandise sales are expected to triple. It's reported the increased revenue has already covered Beckham's amazing salary for the next 2 years. And it's estimated that more than 1 million users visited the league's website, more than twice the number who visited the previous July. Nearly half the visits are coming from overseas, and the league's worldwide profile is higher than it's ever been. So the fans are turning up in record numbers, and Beckham is out on the pitch showing America what he does best. Yes, the fans are coming out, and so are the waiting press. When a Beckham arrives at anything, the media circus has moved up another notch. Despite the feeding frenzy, the mainstream press have been glowing with Beckham enthusiasm.
I think a lot of people in U.S. soccer have been waiting for a catalyst, a guy who could take the sport here to the next level after a lot of hard work has been done in building a foundation over the last 10 years. Beckham is that guy. You couldn't pick a better guy in the entire world to come be that catalyst.
Meanwhile, on the celebrity circuit, the tabloids and television talk shows can't get enough of the Beckhams. Victoria wowed the paparazzi and gossip columnists at the Grammys and Oscars parties, and she even made the best dressed lists the morning after. And for those who don't know them, they soon will, after a television program was made about their move to the States. All these distractions have not meant that he has forgotten some of his core beliefs. David took a side trip with teammates to Harlem, New York, on a quiet Friday morning to fundraise for a new pitch. There he was in the thick of it with two of his favourite passions, having a kick, a laugh, and encouraging kids to maybe even take up the sport.
I was excited. My mom told me the other day, we were going to meet David Beckham, and I was like, what? Because, I mean, it's not every day a star comes around, so it's great that they're influencing the community and the kids around us.
The Beckhams have become part of Hollywood royalty, chumming up with, amongst others, film stars Katie Holmes and Tom Cruise. Bosch and Becks attended their wedding in Rome, and David even credits Tom for helping him make the decision to move to the LA Galaxy. David Beckham continues to show the world it is possible to live your dreams.
In the last decade, he has helped shape British sport, not just in Europe, but across the globe. His contribution to our industry is immeasurable.
I have always loved football. Of course, I love my family. I have a wonderful life. But football is everything to me.
So the boy becomes a man. The man plays football. captains his country, marries his princess of pop, pays a lot for clothes and haircuts, curls plenty of super strikes into the net, overcomes injury, copes with constant media intrusion, works for charity, and has the respect of men, women and children around the world. It all sounds too good to be true, but it's not, for the time being at least. This is the life of David Robert Joseph Beckham. Becks.
You know, this is not the end of me, this is just the beginning, just the beginning.
For a lesser mortal, all this might be too good to be true, but it's not. This is the rise and rise of Beckham.
The smile.
Beckham was born on May the 2nd, 1975 in Leytonstone, London. As a youngster, he lived and breathed football, and he enjoyed long hours kicking the ball around with his dad. And in 1991, he was signed up by the world-famous Manchester United as a trainee. He made his debut the following year. Less than a year later, with an FA Youth Cup under his belt, Beckham was now a convincing professional with the mighty Man U, for whom he had dreamed of playing for as a boy.
Right, here is David Beckham, onside.
It wasn't long before his deadly pinpoint accuracy on penalty kicks and his sweeping crosses etched itself into the consciousness of opponents and fans alike. Beckham had now become a soccer legend, bringing home the FA Cup, Premier League Cup and Charity Shield one after the other. Football fans loved him. They adulated this working-class lad with his cheeky smirk, raw talent and wide-eyed innocence. Not only could he play football, but he was handsome to boot. He was forgiven for his quirky London accent, even though back then he seldom spoke in public. His nondescript blue-collar background was on show for all to see.
You know, the majority of the team are all young, most of the team are all young, and you know, we just want to carry on each season and try and do as well as we can.
Beckham was on his way to conquering the world. Scoring goal after spectacular goal through the '96 season made him an instant household name. Now Beckham was well and truly on the rise to fame and fortune. When world leaders to pop stars at Luttrellstown Castle in Ireland. Fittingly, the couple moved into what became known as Beckingham Palace, a mansion near London. 5 years after buying posh an engagement ring worth $65,000, the quiet lad with the lanky hair soon became the epitome of style, charm and political correctness. It was Victoria's influence that gave him that confidence, and he basked in the spotlight off the field as well as on. Together, they have become the world's most influential trendsetters. Victoria is credited with being the driving force behind this transformation into a highly marketable new millennium man. She became, for the most part, the couple's voice, and Becks was happy to leave it to her, letting his football magic and charming smiles do the talking. The Beckham's second son, Romeo James, was born on September 1, 2002 by caesarean section. And again at the midday press conference, the noisy contingent of reporters meant David's quiet tones were hard to hear. And his name, a proud David Beckham told reporters, was to be Romeo. So it was with a voice brimming with happiness and easy confidence, he announced the birth of a second Beckham son, named after Shakespeare's tragic lovelorn character.
Nervous having children, but it's the most beautiful thing in the world, so we're both delighted.
Under Victoria's firm and perhaps protective guidance, by 2000 Beckham had reached the pinnacle of his career. After Romeo was born, David says he discussed retirement with Victoria. Glamour to meet you. Film stars like Tom Cruise want to be seen in your company, and fans around the world adore you. You know you've made it. An intoxicating mix of stunning good looks, marriage to a pop star, and the birth of photogenic children, combined with the drama of physical injury and a whopping salary, means millions of magazines, newspapers and television programs can't get enough of the legend that is David Beckham. And not only that, he plays football with the speed of a gazelle, the grace of a dancer and the daring of a true sporting hero. The Spice Girls were the flirty female Fab Five of the 90s.
I mean, when you think we're just five mates having a laugh.
Better known as Posh, she was Victoria Adams, and soon to be the other major interest in David Beckham's life. When Beck saw Posh in a Spice Girls video clip, he said he had to meet the one with the bob and the short skirt, and the rest is history. 4 months later, Posh was pregnant. Looking exhausted but over the moon, Beckham attempted to speak over the clamour of reporters, asking David, is it a boy or a girl? It's a boy, he told them. Have you chosen his name yet, they asked.
Brooklyn Joseph. Yeah. And how's Victoria?
She's very well. She's set up. She's drinking champagne. She's very well.
Paparazzi and press reporters followed Beck's and Posh's every move. And the arrival of Brooklyn in March 1999 told the media in no uncertain manner their celebrity wouldn't be bought cheaply. Within months, the tabloid press had to pay $1.5 million US for the wedding pictures of Britain's new royals. His parents were divorcing, and he was having problems with his Manchester United manager. There was also the dramatic news of 2 plots to kidnap Victoria and the children. Although they were discovered before they could be carried out, the news was devastating. David told the media that the first role of a father and husband is to keep his family safe, and they would be reviewing their security arrangements.
You know, it's a real infringement on their freedom of movement and so forth. But I really do think that they're going to really have to consider beefing up their security to the same level as royalty protection.
When things calmed down, David changed his mind about retiring. Victoria persuaded him to reconsider how much he loved the game and captaining the English side. On a cable network poll, Posh and Becks were dubbed the world's most romantic couple. They still have an incredibly strong bond. Despite the public adulation, they try to retain a practical slant on life, keeping family life sacrosanct, and take delight in spending as much time as they can with their boys. And it seems that all these years on, theirs is still a celebrity coupling made in heaven. Football, like public life, hasn't all been smooth sailing for David Beckham. At the World Cup of 1998 in France, he was given the red card for kicking Argentinian player Diego Simeone. Beckham handed the Argentinians the game on a silver platter by overreacting to a fairly minor provocation. It was the first time he'd been sent off as a professional, and
David Beckham.
In a land of gridiron and baseball, soccer is the latest craze. All eyes are on the Beckhams as they introduce soccer's champions to the USA.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Alexi Lawless, and I am the proud president and general manager of the jewel of MLS, the Los Angeles Galaxy.
Potentially in the States, soccer could be as big as it is everywhere else around the world. And I'm very proud to be part of that and going to be part of that for the next 5 years.
In 2007, David Beckham took a chance on a major career move. This is the story of the rise of David Beckham. He was born David Robert Joseph Beckham, but the world knows him simply as Beckham or Becks. It is one of the most recognisable names in the world, and he is the #1 pop star of the world game of soccer.
This goes in. It is Beckham, deflected. There is the cheer. And there